Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucas Prime here, and welcome to the next episode of Movie Didn't Need a Sequel. And today, guys, I'm going to be covering one of my favourite action movies of the 90s, released in 1998. This is like a swashbuckler action movie, and one of my favourite movies, which is action swashbuckler in general. And this movie, guys, is a movie which, in my opinion, only works best as one movie alone, and that is none other than 1998's The Mask of Zorro. So yeah, now, I really love this movie, guys. I think it's an absolute masterpiece and just absolutely brilliant action movie. And what's great about it, where do I begin? It's so great. It's based on, based on the character of a masked vigilante called Zorro, created by Johnston McCulley, and an amazing performance of Antonio Banderas as the title character Zorro. This is easily my favourite role, Antonio Banderas, and with great supporting characters as well. For example, I definitely love the addition of Don Diego de la Vega, played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, which is definitely a good role. He's played my second favourite role. He's played after Hannibal Lecter. And also, as well, a great love interest being Alina, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, my favourite role of her. And also a very compelling villain as well, called Don Rafael Montero, played by Stuart Wilson. That's also my favourite role, Stuart Wilson. And it's definitely a great story where Don Diego de la Vega escapes from prison to find his long-lost daughter and avenge the death of his wife at the hands of the corrupt Governor Montero. And of course, he as well finds a new Zorro, which is Alejandro, and he's training him to be his successor. And yeah, I definitely love the development of the movie, guys. And yeah, this movie is just absolutely phenomenal. I really love this movie. And in my opinion, guys, it works best as a standalone movie because it has a very heartwarming ending, guys. A very nice, happy ending because at the end of the movie, Don Montero is defeated alongside as well the other villain of the movie, played by Matt Letcher, who is called Captain Harrison Love. Yeah, all the villains were defeated, and happy ending because Alejandro and Elena are now married, and they have a son called Joaquin, and whom is named after his brother. And he tells him the stories of his grandfather's heroic deeds and his legacy as Zorro. So yeah, I definitely think, this ending was amazing and perfectly wrapped up the story. And in my opinion, it did not need any continuation whatsoever, in my opinion, to be honest. Because the ending perfectly wrapped up the story, and I don't think anything was needed, really, at all. But of course, unfortunately, 7 years later, we of course got a sequel to this movie, and that of course was 2005's The Legend of Zorro. Now, compared to this movie, which I think is a phenomenal masterpiece, which I give a flat 10 out of 10 to, the sequel I think is extremely disappointing, guys, and in my opinion, a mediocre mess that was not needed, and I give it a 5 out of 10, because it was so mediocre, and it did not fare well compared to the first movie, in my opinion. It was disappointing. So here's why, in my opinion, this movie did not need sequels. So I have a rule, guys, when making when it comes to movies, in which when making them, being that if you're going to do a sequel or a continuation of a film which already had an amazing, phenomenal ending, please don't ruin the ending of that movie. And unfortunately, this sequel did the opposite of that, because it's unfortunately ruined the ending of The Mask of Zorro, because at the start of the movie, it's shown that Elena is blackmailed into divorcing Alejandro. So yeah, because he briefly gets exposed by Pinkerton agents. So yeah, the separation just really ruined the happy ending. So how could it do that? That was disappointing. Yeah, I really did not like that at all. It was disappointing. Can't believe, they had to make the character be separated like that. That just, was ridiculous, and it ruined the happy ending of the first movie. And furthermore, guys, I also did not like as well how, when it comes to the villain of the movie, there was a villain in the movie which is called Count Armand, and played by Rufus Sewell, and in my opinion, he was nowhere near as good of a villain as Don Montero, in my opinion. nowhere near as compelling, because Don Martello was an absolutely brilliant villain, guys, and one of the best parts of this movie, in my opinion. So, like, it was just disappointing, really, how they had a much weaker villain in this movie. I mean, I think the separation of Alejandro and Elena just ruined the movie for me, in my opinion. It was disappointing what happened, really. Yeah, I can't really believe they had to, you know, to undo the happy ending of the first movie. So this is why I like to pretend, guys, that Mask of Zorro is one movie alone with no continuation whatsoever. I mean, you could literally say that it does have an afterlife, because Antonio Banderas would later, of course, voice Puss in Boots in the Shrek films, and Puss in Boots is literally just Zorro, but as a cat. So, yeah, you could literally pretend that, you know, Zorro's now a cat in the Shrek films as, like, a continuation. But officially, though, guys, in my opinion, Mask of Zorro is only one movie alone, and I like to keep it that way, really. So, when it comes to what I own, I only own this movie alone, guys, on Blu-ray. I do not plan to buy The Legend of Zorro anytime soon. I don't think I ever will, because in my opinion, it was not needed at all. It was totally necessary, because this movie had an amazing ending which perfectly wrapped up the story. So, as far as I'm concerned, guys, Zorro is only one movie alone, and I keep it that way, really, with A Mask of Zorro, and that's it. There was no need to do a sequel, in my opinion. And thankfully, they've not done a third movie. Thank God for that, because in my opinion, it was still not needed at all. Yeah, in my opinion, Mask of Zorro is just one movie. I like to keep it that way, really. And there's even been, you know, a possible crossover rumour between, you know, this movie and Django Unchained, which is interesting, really. I mean, I could see what happened, maybe, but I'm just hoping he won't undo the happy ending of this movie. But, you know, still, nevertheless, well, guys, I like to pretend that I live in a world where there's only one Zorro movie, being The Mask of Zorro, and that's it, really. Because this movie, like I say, is phenomenal, guys. One of my favourite 90s action movies of all time, alongside things like Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and also Die Hard and Speed. And there's probably many other great action movies in this decade as well, really. Maybe even World Cup 2 as well. It was also like unnecessary sequel as well. I thought it was still a good movie for what it was worth. But nonetheless, well, guys, in my opinion, Zorro works just as one movie alone, being The Mask of Zorro, and that's it. Yeah, I like to pretend there's only one movie in the franchise, and when I do, you know, reviews, guys, I will do a review for this movie eventually, in the future. I definitely will be doing a review for this movie, and I will also do a review for a sequel, you know, The Legend of Zorro as well, in the future, but I'll give it a mediocre message, because I think it was disappointing. But it was still okay for what it was, thanks to Antonio Banderas' great performance as Zorro. And I guess also Catherine Zeta-Jones as Elena as well, even though I hated the separation, that really ruined the movie, in my opinion. And, yeah. And when it comes to watching the films, guys, thankfully I didn't waste my money on a sequel, because I watched both these films on streaming services like Amazon Prime, for example. I watched this movie on Prime and I really loved it, whereas for the sequel I was disappointed. So yeah. So long story short, guys, in my opinion, Zorro is only one movie alone, which is The Mask of Zorro from 1998, and I keep it that way. So no drill, guys, be sure to give this video a like, and also be sure also in the comments what you guys think of The Mask of Zorro. Tell me if you think it needed a sequel or not. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe for more videos in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can press on your piece of that or you can leave a description, and I'll see you all later.